All right, what do we have here? A little Thursday night live. What do you guys say? It's the final day of the month. We're going to take a look at this monthly close for our cryptocurrency charts. Obviously, we're going to look at the broader financial markets, talking about equities, stocks, what's taking place in the current events. It's getting wild out there. And as we expect, only to pick up from here. So this is why we got to stay tapped in. We got to stay focused. And we got to ask the question, how's your program working out, folks? Let's get right on into it. So in today's session, we're going to talk about this bull trap rally that I believe that we're in the middle of. I'm just going to come right out there, put it in the title, going to come right out, and I'm going to say that, yeah, I do think that this is a bull trap rally. I want to see legs. I want to see support. I want to see some structure. I love seeing green candles. It's fantastic. But I also like structure, and I like something that can be sustained. And so right now we're seeing crypto melt faces doing what it does best, and Bitcoin really leading the show. That's fantastic. But I want to give you my predictions on this bull trap rally. I want to talk about XRP, and that's going to come towards the end of this show, where I will set aside some time for some Q&A as well. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. This is our new live time slot here, Tuesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then we're looking at a 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays as well. And if you're looking to join our private group, you do so by going to my website, zachrector.com. You sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord, and that is where we have our weekly calls every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. So we're doing a back-to-back Saturday. You know we bring the content every day for you. If you appreciate what we're doing, just know that I appreciate you as well. The support, the momentum behind our community is absolutely massive. And, you know, we used to say, right, nothing can stop what is coming. That's truly how I feel. You know, God willing, we're going to be able to create generational wealth, but we have to understand what we're going through right now. This is why I will continue to keep you guys plugged in, tapped in on a daily basis with our content. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter, TikTok, and the YouTube platform here as well. And let's get right on into our episode, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Let's rock and roll. If you haven't already, please share this one out far and wide, and let's get into it. Now, in tonight's episode, I'm going to try to make sure that I don't have the wildfire sound playing in the background the whole time. So I'm going to start off the video here by playing the wildfire news out in Texas. All jokes aside, this is a dire situation. This is a very serious situation. But last night on the live, I had left the background noise, so it sounded like a fire was crackling in the background. Probably soothing for some folks, but I'm going to try to keep the audio clean for you guys tonight. Thank you so much. Wildfire destroys over 1 million acres in Texas. Let's all jokes aside, folks. This is a serious situation. Okay. To give you perspective, Mario Nafal shares that we have LA, Tokyo, Madrid. You're seeing about 1 million acres if you add up the square footage of LA, Tokyo, and Madrid. And the fire is still not contained. Now, I asked folks in my Discord community, I said, is it wildfire season? And they were like, no, typically not. And so questions are really circulating around this whole situation. How did this happen? I'm just gonna keep my comments at that for right now. But once again, we're under attack in every single way, folks, including our weather, right? Whether it's climate change, no matter who you want to blame. Remember what I always say, right? We don't need to predict the exact black swan. We don't need to worry about who we need to blame, which president we need to blame. We need to be prepared for whatever black swan event is going to take place. And the best part about it is that we can prepare the same way no matter what the event's going to be. It just so happens that we have 1 million acreage being burned right now, and we're going to see beef prices are set to probably increase dramatically on top of the inflation that we've already experienced. Remember how hard it is to be a cattle rancher these days in the United States of America, to be a farmer in general, right? And so we're going to continue to watch it, folks. On to the next point, though. We are seeing the heartland is burning down. It's all literally burning down around us. And let me double check, make sure I don't got the noise playing in the background. We have it all burning down around us, but what's happening with this stock market? What's happening with crypto? To the moon. And we're going to take a look at it right here from Market Watch. U.S. stocks are off to their best start in a year since 2019. And the rally is not just about the Magnificent Seven. They always have a story to tell you about how solid this is, how there's, they make up their own fundamentals. There are no fundamentals backing this other than we've had a lot of dollars printed. Let's make it simple. Let's do simple maths. There are way more dollars that have been put into circulation. They are lying about inflation, and there's still plenty of cash to circulate. Warren, the Oracle of Omaha, Buffett, with 167 billion cash. There's a reason why the elites are cashing out. There's a reason why JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, just sold off his stock for the first time ever. There's a reason why Zuckerberg goes to the UFC event to play cool and, look like he's one of the boys, right? Go to the UFC event. That was a really good appearance by whoever on his PR marketing team. He's over there, dancing, trying to look human, even though he's probably alien AI, some sort of deal. I joke, but I just laugh at that, how he was able to go viral. That was epic marketing and execution in that regard by his team. But nonetheless, Zuckerberg working on his martial arts. But what's he doing behind the scenes? He's selling out and he's running to the hills. And in this case, running to the bunker. He's building a huge multi-million-dollar bunker, and they're cashing out their stock. Now, he makes the appearance at UFC. Oh, I'm hanging with the boys. I'm a cool guy, right? Meanwhile, these guys, I'm telling you right now, it's like they're going to blow the world up, and they're building their bunkers for the event. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but, metaphorically speaking, right? Unbelievable. And just from a market perspective, we're seeing it. Just from a banking crisis, we're seeing it. I'm not just talking about it. This is happening. New York Community Bank is the next one, crashing another 20% after reporting material weakness in internal controls. This is the same bank that acquired the collapsed Signature Bank during the regional banking crisis. So, we'll pick you up. Think we're buying, pennies on the dollar. We're picking up this bank for, gonna scoop up the good assets. Well, that program's not working out. This comes just weeks after the bank posted an unexpected $260 million loss in Q4 of 2023. As we've been saying, $260 million loss, hundreds of billions in unrealized losses. If they had to mark to market their books, if they had to mark to market their assets, you have to understand how they're all insolvent. This isn't even really getting into the derivatives exposure that many of them have as well. This is just getting into the unrealized losses on their bonds, on their commercial real estate, on their residential real estate. How much did all of the mortgage moratoriums, and everybody gets a participation trophy? Nobody has to pay rent, nobody has to pay mortgage, nobody has to pay student loan. Happy days are here. How much did that push off, right? What we already saw in the banks collapsing. How many have been saved by all the moratoriums, right? Basically, the whole system, the whole game stopped. And they said, hold up, everybody gets participation trophy, don't worry about it. And then they provided backstops now for the big boys and girls. That's how it's set to work out. And now the laws are written to do bail-ins. Do you got gold and silver? Do you hold it? Do you own it? Like our good friend Lynette Zhang. She was on yesterday. We aired that. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. And just an absolute legend. As she says, it's all about community and sound money. What have we been preaching? What have we been doing? Not just talking about it. What have we been doing? Every time I check in with my Discord group, I get to see the folks building their businesses, working on their prepping, building their garden, building their community, stacking sound money, stacking crypto, trading crypto, starting a business, investing in real estate, getting a deal done, helping out their community. Meanwhile, you flip on Twitter, and it's like the 5 o'clock news. It's all negativity. It's all how bad everything is. Who can I blame? What can I, complain about today? Versus just asking the program, how's the program working out? Asking the question, how's the program working out? And answering it honestly. What we're about to go through right now is going to shake a lot of people. I was still a kid during the Great Financial Crisis. I saw pieces of it. I didn't understand what was happening, though. Now it all makes sense later on, where you saw all these families get separated. You saw them move houses. You saw, families go from just everything was A-okay to real struggle. And here we are, right? We've had this market. It's gone back up, and it's helped make people solvent again. God willing, as long as you've been able to keep your job. But now it's been rug pulled. This is what Fed Chair Jerome Powell and his group of private central bankers did when they had to raise rates at the fastest pace in history to control and respond to the massive amount of money printing that had to be done. And this is the fiscal issue. The response was the monetary policy from the Fed, which has allowed the whole thing to occur. And they've backstopped the whole thing, and they're saying that there's no limit. There's no limit to the backstop, which is why there's no limit to how high these assets can go in dollar terms, right? And as we've been saying, right, you're seeing a bank crash right now. We know they're not solvent, just looking at their balance sheets, right? My little one checking in on me. Dad is working. Okay. So if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Right here, New York Community Bank, another one. It's not over. We've been saying this. It's not to sensationalize the issue. It's not so that we can push our precious metals. I have my community resources so that you guys have a reputable source to trust. My good friend Andy Sheckman, Miles Franklin, one of the best in the industry. And so this is why we do it. And I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you what my community's been doing, and that has been making moves. Despite the bear market, making moves. Republic First, $35 million cash injection deal is terminated. This one from Bloomberg, and it was actually shared to me by Lynette Zhang. So another shout out to Lynette. So we're looking at this deal. Another one of these banks that's, insolvent, failing. They planned a $35 million cash injection by a group of investors. A transaction intended to reassure shareholders about the bank's financial stability has collapsed. That's right. The deal to save this thing has collapsed. Okay. Now, they say, quote, our strategic plan has been designed to be executed even without the investment announced last fall, the bank said in the filing. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We're still solvent. We're still going to make it even without this. Yeah. Oh, okay. We have continued to maintain the bank's adequately capitalized position, sure, and believe we have a strong deposit base and ample liquidity. Well, you have a strong deposit base until you don't, right? Until your clients say, we got other options. And this is what you're seeing. You're seeing large inflows to the big banks, systemically important banks like JP Morgan, right? Why? Because the rich people know that they have a backstop. They're not going to be allowed to fail. They're going to get bailed out. They've been deemed systemically important. They'll destroy our currency. They'll destroy middle class and poor America to do it. But that's the whole thing, is they changed up the rules to now do bail-ins. So the next time we go through a banking crisis in a Lehman Brothers moment, one, it's going to be a whole heck of a lot worse because the numbers are way bigger. The scale of this everything bubble is way bigger. Okay? But the part that's going to be different is now it's bail-ins. They take customer deposits to bail themselves in and make themselves whole. I'm not making this up. In fact, Trump was part of it. Trump actually was part of pushing this because he didn't want it to be on the American taxpayers. He basically said, this is a private free market as it's supposed to be. And so this is why you got to know where you've invested. Where you have to understand and do due diligence, not just on your crypto, not just on your stocks, but now it's your bank. Now, you would say, well, it's not supposed to be like that. You should be able to trust your bank. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, humans should all be nice and kind to each other. What reality are we talking about here, right? Humans are greedy. There's flaws. And in the free market, people do fail. So this is why this quasi crony capitalism that we've had, this is what's put us in such a terrible spot where the regular people are caught holding the bag. The regular people are caught signed on the dotted line for debt that they won't be able to cover. And remember, it's not just us that are feeling it. It's the elite. It's the banksters. That it's just a matter of them having a backstop or not. Will they survive? That's yet to be. Well, we're going to see how many get sacrificed in this reset. That's part of this whole deal. That's why Jamie Dimon, you see Jamie Dimon, he's loving life right now. One, now they're bullish on crypto. You saw that play, right? It's a pet rock until we're ready to custody it and be the custodian for all of the spot ETFs. And now we're bullish, and now we're saying that not only is the pump, solid, but it's going to continue. So it goes from pet rock to keep pumping it, baby. Why? Because they're making money whether it goes up or down. Why is Jamie Dimon so happy? Well, he's cashing out 130 million or so for the first time ever, which for him, that's, just a chunk of change. But he's also happy because his bank's about to be able to go buy the blood in the streets, just like Warren Buffett's getting ready to do, right? This is a huge shift. And on the real estate front, we're starting to see it as well. Exactly why I describe the situation as a real estate reset. Not every market's going down. You can find markets all across this country that are still going up. What's really the primary driver in nine out of 10 markets that are in that situation of still going up? Lack of supply. It's the number one issue. The demand across the board at every single segment, at every single sector across the board is down. Overall demand is down, but supply is at the lowest levels in decades in some areas. So it's a supply-demand issue. And that's simply what's driving prices up right now, despite the fact that mortgage rates have gone twice as high. And the average mortgage rate now is coming in just over 7% is what we're now getting on our readings. So for a brief moment in time, remember it went above 8%, 8.1%. Now it's back down. It had gone back down to about 6 3/4 if you have good credit. Remember, that's for the best credit. If your credit's not good, it's a different deal. For best credit, you were able to get it sub 700. Now we're starting to see that the average that's being reported is back up to about 7.16. But this is what I'm talking about with demand absolutely falling off. We got good real estate data this week. Check it out here from Cabesi Letter Summarized. Pending home sales are officially back below 2008 levels in the U.S. January, pending home sales fell 6.9% year over year. And stand right above the record low. This helps explain why mortgage demand has been down for 5 straight weeks to its lowest level since 1995. As I said, demand is dead. Interestingly, pending home sales fell the most in the South and Midwest by 7.3% and 7.6% respectively. However, they climbed by 0.8% in the Northeast and 0.5% in the West. And in particular, the Northeast is one of those markets, Connecticut and other areas up there, that are still going up because there's such a lack of supply. They're still going up by a lot. Not only their pending home sales, but the price. Some of these markets are still up over 10% year over year. So this is why I can't speak generally across the board other than to say it's a real estate reset. The debt's being reset. And you have to understand how lucky we are as Americans. Well, you can call it luck, or you can call it, being trapped in a deal. If it's done right, you're having inflation wipe out the value of your debt. That's why Lynette Zhang said yesterday that she still holds a mortgage. That's part of her plan. That's part of her program, is to be able to pay off that mortgage when the inflation really picks up. And if we do go into hyperinflation, well, then you just take a wheelbarrow full of cash into the bank and you pay off your house. Right. Even if it doesn't get to that level, that's the plan, right? If real inflation is 5 to 10% and you locked in a mortgage rate at 3%, the numbers pencil out very well. Right. Now, this is the problem, though, right? Is the mortgage rates are now back above 7%, and we have a flood of inventory expected to come on this spring. So this is where we start to play around in real estate a little bit more. It's been interesting to watch it play out over this winter. Some markets already falling off on the residential side, some markets already falling off, some still rising. But it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out this spring. When you look at markets like Florida, the amount of inventory coming online is surging. Seriously, it is surging in Florida. Why? Because their insurance is up 50%. See, I usually just talk about the mortgage rate and I just talk about interest rates and kind of the macroeconomic stuff. I don't go into the weeds on real estate, right? But when you really, pencil these numbers out, most people forget to add up all this stuff. Maintenance, insurance. You got HOAs now that are just cutting maintenance out completely. Or all these other HOAs and condo associations that are having to do major special assessments. This is across the board, right? And it's worse in some markets. This is why I say there's so much opportunity in real estate still. You have markets where there's a lack of supply, and then you have a bunch of debt that has to be restructured, all opportunity. I saw Ken McElroy, one of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad advisors, right? Classic. I've read his books on real estate investing, The Advanced Guide to Real Estate. ABC's of Property Management, classic books on real estate investing. And actually, we're going to be starting up kind of I'm going to do more content on books. I'm going to do more book reviews, and I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite books that kind of got me my fundamental education on some of these different asset classes, right? And with real estate, Ken McElroy just put out a video, and it said, I just bailed out Bank of America, something like that. And he said, not clickbait. And I didn't watch the video, but I already know what it was he bought a deal off. And this is what he's been talking about doing. He's going, and these bankers have terrible loans that they've given out on these commercial properties. And so they need to get bailed out. It's not just whatever fund owns the deal, right? The fund's about to be done with the deal, but the bank still has to find somebody else to buy the asset. And so this is why Ken McElroy is going and bailing out banks. Why I talk about you can go out and bail out business owners right now that don't have an exit strategy. Many people don't have a succession plan. There's a massive opportunity right now if you're willing to stay, working. Or if you want to just live in the metaverse and collect your UBI check, live in a 15-minute city and have a good life, that option will be available as well. Here come the banks, folks. Let's get into our cryptocurrency update. Let's talk about it. Bank of America's Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo offering Bitcoin ETFs to clients. So now we're seeing them expand, right? At first, they were denying it, and we're talking about Vanguard was denying it, and the CEO, Tim Buckley, was saying that we're never going to offer it. Well, now the $7.2 trillion asset manager of Vanguard, Tim Buckley, is stepping down from CEO. Now, last month, they had banned all Bitcoin ETFs from their platform. It's going to be interesting to see if they flop and if they switch out on that one. And, once again, this is what the battle is all about. They have 7.2 trillion, right? BlackRock has about 9 billion right now. This is a battle over how do you keep the assets under your management. If your client doesn't want to hold stocks, now they want to hold crypto, are you going to offer it to them or not? This is why I say JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, they don't care if his opinion is that Bitcoin's still a pet rock, that's fine. People are going to buy this pet rock and they want to buy it through a spot ETF. And so this is how they're going to get exposure to it, right? And he's going to make his money. And Vanguard's going to make their money. And Bank of America's Merrill Lynch is going to make their money. And as we've been saying, it's now going to be a race to digital assets. It's a race to who can control it. Who can get the biggest piece of this pie. And this pie keeps on growing. That's the beautiful thing. As we enter into this fourth industrial revolution and we carry this thing out over the next decade, the pie continues to grow. I've always said with XRP, right, if you just get a little sliver of this pie, you go somewhere fun. But the pie continues to grow as well, exponentially. Now, this is why I worry, though. This is why I worry, though, about where we're at in these markets right now. What part of the cycle are we in right now? Well, we're in the part of the cycle where your favorite rapper, maybe, I don't know if you guys like Offset and the Migos, your favorite rapper is now pushing cryptocurrency. We're at that part of the cycle. You know what happens next. Homies made racks on Doge. Cop some Myro as my first crypto ever. Myro Group sent me this. What do you guys think of my chain? How about that from Offset? And he's got the chain. He's repping it. Huge shout out to Offset. And this is what part of the cycle we're in. Okay. So this is why I've been saying, guys, yes, I love watching the green candles. I love watching the pump. When JP Morgan has now flipped to, this rally is going to continue. Well, is this rally really going to continue? Or are you now just trying to pump up the crypto base? Right. It just same thing with BlackRock. Right. And now you even have it with Jim Cramer. See, we just got the Cramer kiss of death for the U.S. economy. I dropped a video earlier on that today. So, Jim Cramer just put out a tweet. It was a week ago. And he said that we have a roaring economy. If you missed that video, I dropped it earlier. But now we have the Cramer kiss of death for an Ethereum spot ETF. Take a look at it, folks. Given the success of the Bitcoin ETFs, it's pretty obvious that an Ethereum ETF will soon bloom. Now, maybe we will eventually. I'm sure we will eventually get an Ethereum ETF. But we'll see how soon that comes. And Steven Arioff, our good friend, comments, he says, an Ethereum ETF? Don't count on it. Ethereum is a sinking ship, reminiscent of the Titanic, yet this time the crowd remains oblivious to the impending disaster, while we spot the iceberg from miles away. This reminds me of the meme of Bitcoin and Tether are the big lifeboat, right? The big cruise ship is Bitcoin, Tether, Ethereum, and the whole gang, right? This whole big thing. And then you have a nuclear submarine that's under the water, and that's XRP and Ripple. It's completely untethered from this whole show right over here, right? This sideshow of Bitcoin, which even, don't take it from me, take it from the CEO of Franklin Templeton, that Bitcoin might be the greatest distraction for the greatest disruption. Don't take it from me. I'm not here to hate on Bitcoin. Franklin Templeton's CEO saying that it might be the biggest distraction to the greatest disruption. Steven Narioff calling Ethereum a sinking ship. Well, this is a guy who advised Ethereum at the very beginning. So he knows the internal workings of the entire foundation and the business. Has it changed since he's left? Yeah, somewhat. It's really just grown in the main issues that he presented to the foundation from the very beginning. The corruption that we've now exposed completely, and that whole story is about to be going viral here for everyone to see. Now, let's talk about it. As we put out this morning as well, we dropped 2 videos this morning. We asked the question, did Coinbase kill the pump? Well, this is what they do every time. This is classic Coinbase. And I put out a joke video. I said, "Oh, you thought you were going to be able to sell during this bull run?" Which I was just kicking up a joke because, well, for one, we are already struggling to sell as Coinbase crashed and many other exchanges crashed as well. But also just to urge people to wake them up, light a little fire under their butt to say, wow, maybe I should actually figure out how to do this crypto thing. And I'm not talking about centralized exchanges. I'm talking about DEXs, the ability to use decentralized exchanges on the XRP ledger, right? You're talking Uniswap for Ethereum if you're playing over in that land. And you're talking about others as well, right? XLM, Stellar Network has a DEX as well built into it. Getting familiar with these is critical. Getting familiar with self-custody right now, critical. And having a plan and a program more critical than ever, as we've gone crazy. The market's just absolutely gone crazy, right? It's definitely far outseeded my expectations. Here we are at 60,000 for Bitcoin, 60 cents for XRP, and other coins have already started to rip as well. Many folks still don't have an exit strategy. They've been pushing it off. How much longer are we going to push this off, right? Until Bitcoin goes to a new all-time high? Until your cryptos have already gone up by 2, 3, 5x, 10x or more? And then you don't know what to do? Because then you start to get greedy, then you start to second guess, then you're confused. You don't have a plan. We got to get tapped in right now on what our exit strategy is going to be and or reallocation strategy. Please understand that for me, my investments in digital assets and my investments as far as the assets that I own, when they go to the investment side of my portfolio, that's my portfolio, but when they go to investments, right? When it goes from bank in my account, cash at my house, or whatever it's going to be, right? To investments, it's not, I'm not really planning on bringing it back. You know, the plan is not to sell for cash. The plan is to sell for other assets. So for me, it's a reallocation plan. It's not to sell XRP to go to dollars. If I have to sell XRP to go to dollars to then buy a piece of real estate, then that's what I'll do. But I'm not going from XRP back to the dollar. That's missing the whole point. I'm only going to do that because that's the function and that's what the person selling the real estate is going to want to accept. Okay. But if you can't get these centralized exchanges to get your order to go through, and then it's another thing to get your cash out. I use the analogy of the casino. It's one thing to convert your chips to cash, and it's a whole nother story to make it out of the casino. In the casino, what do? They liquor you up real good. So you almost can't walk out of that thing. Oh, you start winning? Oh, you think you're a hot shot? Oh, here you go. We got just what you need. Next thing you know, you can't even make it out of the casino. Or you stay there and you keep gambling until you give it all back. This is the same thing that we're seeing in crypto. And it's the Tether casino. And Tether's what funds this casino at every single exchange. So I don't feel like, I have a little bit of FOMO. I kind of want to be trading right now. I like trading with leverage. I like being able to short Bitcoin just out of principle. it's just, part of who I am. Just based off of principle, I like to short Bitcoin to make my money trading doing that. And you would probably be looking at, making a move right now if I could, but no exchanges will offer me. And I don't want to step into the casino right now. You understand? As I mentioned at the start, it's burning down around us, literally. 1 million acres in Texas burning down around us. Financial system burning down around us. Banking crisis taking place. The last time the markets had this sentiment, we were getting set up to go into a massive correction, 20 to 30% for the broader stock market indexes, and 68% crash for NVIDIA. Right? Now, what we continue to talk about, though, is if you just simply learn how to store it, learn how to convert it on the DEX, learn how to use the DEX, you're set. It's not some big deal. It really is not. If you know how to use your phone somewhat decent, you can figure it out, especially if you're not getting too crazy with the strategy. But it's more important now than ever to be able to store your own keys and to be able to utilize the DEX on the XRPL, on the Stellar Network, whatever ledger you want to play with, right? Uniswap, if you're playing in the Ethereum world, there's many other options as well, but those are just a few, right? And when you start to do this, right, you open up way more options for being able to move your assets around versus relying on a centralized entity, which clearly does not care about staying online and providing liquidity during these volatile times. They don't care. Right? So this is what we are covering right here. Eleanor Terrett wanted to ask everybody the customer sentiment around Coinbase, and she says that she's seen some accounts saying that the outages are planned. That the outages on the platform have been a familiar occurrence over the years during bull runs, but as Bitcoin continues to rise and Coinbase says it currently only has tested capacity to a 10x surge, will you continue to use the platform or move to another SEX, centralized exchange, or maybe a DEX? Invest through ETFs, she asked, right? Seems like a problem that shouldn't be standard. And this actually, I never thought of this. This might be one of the pitches for the Bitcoin spot ETFs, for these, ETF funds to say, hey, we're trading on NASDAQ. We're trading on an exchange that can actually get you liquidity, unlike these little crypto exchanges, which go down time and time again. And it wasn't just Coinbase. And as I mentioned in the video earlier, it did stop the pump. It crashed Bitcoin back down to 58,500 or so, and it crashed XRP back down to 52 cents. But there is strong momentum right now behind the space, and so the market's already back up. And I'm going to get to the charts here in just one moment, okay? But I wanted to cover this because, remember, we have multiple lawyers that are fighting on behalf of the good people here in the United States. We got John Deaton, we got Jeremy Hogan, my good friend Jimmy Valley, and we also have my good friend Fred Rispoli, who's been applying pressure. He responds to Eleanor and he says, do not trust Coinbase. We are suing them now for theft of customer funds. This is over Songbird. There are several instances of Coinbase misconduct, blocking account login, refusing to allow withdrawals if users don't agree to unconscionable user agreements. I could keep going, but character limit. And so as Fred says right here, right, we've seen and we've documented it, and now we have a case. And we have a case, it's about the Songbird. We were supposed to be given our Songbird, on following up on the Flare airdrop, and we were supposed to get our Songbird before Flare. We never got it, and then we got our Flare late after Flare had already fallen off, right? So that was, one of the biggest issues that many, had here in the XRP community, along with them delisting XRP. And what we've seen time and time again, I remember when I was first into crypto in 2018, 2019, watching Coinbase crash right before the lawsuit dropped. I remember like it was yesterday. It was 4 a.m. on the West Coast. The market was ripping. And it was one of those times in the markets where you wake up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. and you're watching and you're checking the charts. And that's what I was doing. And sure enough, XRP was pumping up over $1. I was watching it just print 5-cent candles every 15 minutes and even more. And it was shooting up towards $1. And then all of a sudden, Coinbase crashed. And it stopped the pump for XRP. And it never recovered. And then shortly thereafter, the lawsuit was dropped by the SEC. And it took it all the way down. And it absolutely collapsed it. right? So Coinbase is not to be trusted. I am a user. They're one of my options. Like I've always said, I'm conducting a business transaction with these exchanges doesn't mean necessarily that I'm going to trust them. I'm going to trust but verify, and I'm also going to hope like hell that they actually get their crap together. But, I just give myself options, right? So I have Coinbase. It's one of the few exchanges that's available in my state. That's another one of my problems. And the good news is that's forced me to learn how to use the DEXs. I went to go do the AMM for Stellar Network. Took me 5 seconds, literally. I mean, it took me no time. I knew that I wanted to add to the XLM Stronghold liquidity pool. And because I'm just already familiar with Lobster, which is another wallet that allows you to interface with the DEX on Stellar Network. It's the same thing as Zum or Zaman is what it's now called for the XRPL. Once you get familiar with those, it's easy to move your assets around, and then it's very easy. I went to that Stellar X to do the AMM for Stellar Network. It took me 2 minutes. So this is what I want for all of you guys as well too. And if you're new, that's okay. We can help you learn. And we just ran a class on cashing out of crypto and utilizing the DEX just a little bit ago here in our Discord. We got more of them on the way. And as this bull run progresses, we're going to be live, working through this whole thing live as we're going to be reporting, hey, this exchange is down, this exchange is down, we're having issues over here. It's going to be, it's going to be live action on the battlefield when this bull run really starts to pick up and we go to new all-time highs. We're just getting started and the exchanges are already crashing. So if you needed motivation to learn how to store your own keys and how to use a DEX, now that should be it, right? You're just asking to get in trouble. It's like keeping over 250,000 in the bank account, right? You're just asking to be caught off guard here at this point. And we continue to see the banking crisis continue. We continue to see these exchanges crash. It wasn't just Coinbase, but they're one example. Now, the adults in the room, James Wallace, VP at Ripple, on the future of CBDCs and digital money panel at the Digital Euro conference that is taking place right now. This is shared here by Anthony Welfare, who is CBDC strategic advisor for Ripple. And this is a great discussion on the future of digital money and how use cases are critical for adoption of a digital currency. It will take time, and we are only at the beginning of understanding what the future use cases will be. Exciting times ahead. Now, show me any person from Ripple that's, worried, concerned. Is there any FUD at Ripple? No. God, no. God, no. All I see is positivity. All I see is growth, development. Hey, we're working with this company. Hey, we're working with this group. We just partnered up with EZA, and they just brought on 90,000 developers and builders to get exposure to the XRP ledger, right? And out of those, how many are we going to get that actually come to the XRP ledger? Who knows? Maybe only a few dozen, maybe a few hundred. Who knows? But it's all growth. It's all partnerships. It's all adoption. It's all expansion. And meanwhile, the rest of the space, right, is, we got blockchains crashing. We got exchanges crashing. We got uncertainty in so many of these other projects that, yeah, they're pumping, but these people can't justify the prices that they're at. There is no fundamentals. What we continue to see over here is the fundamentals just keep on growing and getting better and better. Eventually, price action will reflect. Now, as I was stating earlier, and as Pano says right here, another reminder why decentralized exchanges are important and why the XRPL AMM makes this even better. DEXs never go down. There are no middleman restrictions or censorship. You have full control of your assets and you are your own bank. With your own self-custody account, there is 24/7 liquidity and you can swap assets at any time. And this is after he said, we are in a bull market when Coinbase starts going down and having some issues. This is where we're at. Now, I'm for the excitement. I like the fact that XRP crashes all of the exchanges. It shows us how early we are. Now, do I have concerns, legitimate concerns about being able to sell off XRP at $5 or $10? Yeah, absolutely. I try to make a joke out of it lightheartedly, but it's not a joke at all. This is going to be a serious issue for many people in the community. I'm telling you right now. We're going to be crying. We're going to come back on stream and we're going to be crying. My order didn't go through at $5. My order didn't go through at $10. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to have a live show pity party where we can cry about the exchanges that didn't. I'm going to try to sell a little bit. You guys know me. I've always been transparent. Right around $10. Little sliver. Just a little something, maybe, I guess. Take wifey to dinner with it or something. I don't know. No, like I said, I keep it over in my investments, but I am going to take just a little bit of profit at about the $10 region, probably. Always, can be changed, right? That's the strategy that I'm sticking to for now, though. But I also, part of my strategy is understanding that I might not be able to sell, that I might be caught holding a bag, that I might not be able to sell at $10 and then we won't, fire back up the exchanges and find liquidity until the price already has fallen back off to $5. We'll come back and we'll be saying, yeah, I wanted to sell at $10 when it went up to $10 on all these different exchanges, and then it crashed back down to $5 in, who knows how quickly it could happen, right? And we're going to come back on here and we're going to be sad. I'm telling you right now, it's already showing. We've done nothing. We're nowhere near the full excitement and activity of this bull run. In fact, when you look at the Bitcoin search terms on Google, they're nowhere near the highs of where we've been at in the previous bull runs. Nowhere near. So this brings me into the title of today's episode, and I appreciate you for hanging with me. If you've made it through 40 minutes of breaking down the economic situation along with the current events and where we're at in these markets, let's hone in specifically on my predictions. Let's hone in specifically on the term bull trap. So let me take a sip of my adult beverage and let's get into it. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. You understand, people are going to be complaining even at $2 and $3. They're going to say, I tried to sell off at $2, my order didn't go through, and now XRP's back at $1.50. I tried to sell at $3, didn't go through, and now XRP's back at $2. Same thing's going to happen. $4 and $5. The ride up to $5 is going to be bloody. XRP, this bull run is going to be crazy. It's just going to, there's so much pent up energy behind XRP holders. It will crash exchanges again. I've been saying this whole time, and we're already crashing exchanges, and we're not even really into the full-blown bull market. So we got to understand where we're at in this cycle. What I see is a move that played out similar to 2019. I'm going to keep this very simple. My TA is very simple. You guys know this. I'm not going to get crazy. I don't have 50 different indicators. Right? I look at historical patterns and I'm looking at economic data right now. Where are we at on the macro? Are we good on macro? On the macro economy? Many other countries around the world are already in recession. Many other asset classes like real estate in Germany already collapsing. That's just one example. And so we bring it back to where we're at in the markets. Well, we're right where we're at right towards the end of 2021 when the stock market was finishing off its highs. Some stocks topped out in late 2021, some did in 2022, but the broader equities market, right, it topped out in about 2021, and then it headed into a bear market. And with the major indexes, you were looking at a, 25, 30% correction. Okay. So I am not calling for absolute 90% collapse. What I'm just calling for is a correction. What I'm calling for is finding support. What I'm calling for is we still are cleaning up a lot of bad actors, and there's still a lot of fake liquidity in this system. There's still a lot of just crap in this system. And some of that's going to get cleaned out. And when it does, even more money flows in to the real assets like Bitcoin, like XRP. Remember, I'm not here to say Bitcoin to zero. I'll leave that to my mentor, Dan Pena. But I am here to say that Bitcoin doesn't have legs right now. It doesn't have support right now. And, it's funny because I saw somebody tried to get me on Twitter and they posted they posted my chart from October. Now, back in October, Bitcoin had already started to rally, right? This was October, November, December. We saw it rally into the new year, and this was based off of the fake news that the ETF was approved, and it didn't get approved till January. And this is where we did go off. And remember, so at the time, Bitcoin was at about 40,000 or so, I think, when I posted the chart. And I said at the time that I thought we were in a bull trap rally. I thought at the time that we didn't really have strong support. We had a good narrative, and we had some good hype. and it could go a little bit further. But I said, yeah, this is a bull trap rally. Well, what did Bitcoin do? It went up to 49,000. When it went up to 49,000, I was still calling it a bull trap rally. What happened next? 38,500. Did it go down to my $35,000 target? No. But it went down to 38,500 after folks at that point were already calling for it to go to all-time highs next. So yeah, where are we at right now? We're back up to 60,000. We went up to 64,000. That's fantastic. That's great. But have we done this in our history with the short history that Bitcoin has lived? Yes. So let's consider on the macro, things aren't good. Things are already starting to break. And let's consider on the technical levels that we've done these moves in the past. We've done more dramatic moves in the past. What's interesting about this move that's being made right now, this bull trap rally, is the amount that we've gone is so close now to the bull trap rally that we experienced during 2019. Take a look at this chart right here and you'll see what I'm talking about. This right here is Bitcoin in 2019, right? Remember, it bottomed out in December of 18, and then it started to rally through 2019. Maybe you weren't here, maybe you've been in before this, but this is something that, many of us in the space remember. Bitcoin went down to 3,000. And this was a time at the end of 2018 where people were saying that, crypto was done. Same sentiment that you got during this bear market. But then it built up all the way, a 336% rally. It's about a 340% bull trap rally all through 2019. Wow, what a great time, right? And this all took place about a year before the halving. So the timing of the pump that we're experiencing right now is different. It is closer to the halving, but we did get a similar pump, right? And that was the second half of 2019 into 2020. And the market in stocks too did a little bit of rally there in January and February. So it all got a little bit of a rally there at the beginning of 2020. And then we got a 63% sacrifice for Bitcoin. If you measure this move from the highs that we achieved, it's a 73% collapse. In 1 month, 63%. So I'm here to remind everybody that Bitcoin has in the past gone up 340% to do a bull trap rally before collapsing 70% and then beginning a bull run that went and it took Bitcoin, right? That's 2020, the 2020 crash, COVID, everything collapsed, and then we took off all the way up and we topped out next year in 2021 at 69,000. We did a double top at 65,000, and then we did a final one in November at 69,000. Now here we are, and like I said, many folks, it's easy. If you want to call me out, you can. If you decide to pick certain time frames that tell a lie. But what folks forget to mention is that we called the bull trap rally perfectly. No, well, okay, maybe perfect. We can't say perfect. Nobody's perfect. But 49,000 to 38,500 was one heck of a move. And if you were prepared for that, for picking up your altcoins and your positions, you were able to stack your bag very nicely. And at the price levels we're already at, if you just traded that, you made money, which we did, by the way. Yeah. And there's a reason why I'm taking profits on some of these coins, which I can't justify the price that they're at with fundamentals. I honestly couldn't. I can justify that they're there off of hype. So take that for what it's worth, right? How much longer is the hype going to last? Well, I'm not shorting right now. I'm not going to stand in front of this freight train. And this is a 316% bull trap rally. You've seen me because I've been calling this out, right? When we went up to 49,000, what was that? At 49,000, that was a, that's where we got up to a 220%. Here's the chart right here. This is where we're at right now, this current pump. Remember when I said we did a 220% rally, okay? And then here we are at 316%. This is fantastic, right? And remember, this is the move that I warned about. This is right here, 49,000 Bitcoin down to 38,500. And yes, I still have Bitcoin to 35 to 30 on my chart. And yes, I still have my purple box. And yes, my purple box goes out till the end of March. So you can screenshot this one. You can smash a pie in my face. And we can all celebrate and have a great party if we continue the pump. If I am wrong in my prediction that we're in a bull trap rally, then we have a party. We have XRP Vegas coming up in May. If we continue to pump, then that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun regardless. If I'm wrong, my bags are packed. If I'm right, then we have one more buying opportunity. And remember where we're at on our halving right now with this cycle. I'm going to show you right now on the charts. So I'm just going to put it in the middle of April is where we're at for the halving. I don't know the exact date, but sometime in April is when the halving is supposed to come in. And this is why I still have that purple box. I've had this on my chart now for a couple months, 35 to 30. And this is where I can see us going. And even if we don't, right? What do we want to do here, right? Even a 20 to 30% pullback takes us to 50,000 Bitcoin again. If we do 30%, it takes us down to 42 support. And where do we have support? We have no support right here. The only support that we have right here is a little area around 52. So, that's why I don't have my moon suit on. I mean, once again, I would love to be able to say with 100% confidence, guys, this is the bull run. It's going to be straight up from here, but that's not how it ever works. Are we going to have as big of a crash as that we had during March of 2020? We get to find out. That's what makes this market so much fun. We're making money whether the market's going up or down. I made money shorting Bitcoin all through 2022. I only missed once on my Bitcoin shorts. And when I was down 20, 30% on my calls where I was wrong, and folks were definitely let me know about it. Oh, how's your Bitcoin short doing? And I would come on and I would say, well, I added to it. I will not be liquidated because I still got more money. And so I just add to it. And I was able to ride some of those positions. They were down 20, 30, 50%. Did I lose conviction? Did I lose faith? No. Did I get liquidated? Almost. You got to make sure that you have your automatic adding to your margin has to be set up automatically. At least that helps. And so I didn't get liquidated and I kept adding. And what happened? I only missed once on my Bitcoin shorts and we made a bunch of money and I was able to stack a bunch more XRP. And so I'm not here to be the TA guru. I'm plugging in macroeconomic data into my thesis. I'm not looking at a moving average. I mean, the fibs, moving averages, yes, it gives you an indication. But I would also like to add. See, I'm not here to take away from any of the TA, from dudes that put 50 indicators on their chart. That's fine. But I like to add the macroeconomic data as well. Where we're at in the equities market, where we're at with the banking crisis. Is the bank term funding program going to continue? The backstop for the banks that got set up last year, that was the whole reason that the banking crisis stopped. You have to understand. They created a new program called the BTFP, Bank Term Funding Program, which was a full and complete backstop for all the systemically important banks. And that has been going on, and it's set to end on March 11th. And what are we seeing as we reported on earlier? We still have banks collapsing. We have recapitalization plans to add liquidity to these banks that are failing. And we can put on the bullish blinders. We can join the Bitcoin bros in the celebration. And we can cheerlead this market, We can cheerlead the NVIDIA bros. You can match the same exact earnings report and the articles that the media is putting out with the most recent NVIDIA report, quarterly report, and then the one from November 2021, right before NVIDIA collapsed 68%. Now, we're in an election cycle. So what happens next? If I'm right in my thesis, if something breaks, if we get some sort of black swan, some sort of event, some sort of crisis, some sort of excuse, that's exactly what they want. It's exactly what they need. so that they can start to paper this thing over. This thing's already breaking. The people are already frustrated. What do you think is going to happen this election if folks are voting as this situation continues to deteriorate? Right? Inflation is going to be coming back. Right? And when folks go to vote, it's the economy stupid, is the old classic saying. Right? So what's going to be the response? Paper it over. Pal, please. We ran out of liquor at the party. Pal, we need you to go make a quick run. Come back and fill up the punch bowl. Can't come back with another keg. And that's exactly what Daddy Pal's going to do. And he's going to come back in. He's going to turn back on that money printer. He's going to drop rates. The BTFP will be revived. A new program will be revived. Let's forgive more student loan debt. As Kamala just said, we're about to pay students to get other students to register. Oh, what a sweet little program, I'm sure. I'm sure that's just a sweet little program to get the youth engaged in voting. How many votes can they buy? Student loan forgiveness, and once again, they give us a Bitcoin rally, they give us a stock market rally. They make everybody happy. Even though the inflation's not going away, even though Main Street's still struggling, even though we're getting massive layoffs, 70,000 job losses this month. This is why I can't sit back. This is why I can't just relax. Chill, bro. Just enjoy the pump. I love getting that one. That was what I got all the way up to 49,000. And I was still getting that up to 49,000, and then it dropped down to 38,500. And this is why I still have a little bit of FOMO that I can't short Bitcoin right now, because we've been making good money. If I was able to short Bitcoin right now, I will be honest with you, I would probably be in a trade that's in a loss. Okay. But I would still be covering my butt. I would still be adding to my margin, and I'd still be in it because I fundamentally just believe that we're set for a correction. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a 70% collapse. It doesn't have to be 60% in a month like it was in March of 2020. It can just be a 20 to 30% correction that's a tremendous buying opportunity on these altcoins, which many of them are nowhere near their all-time high. This has been a Bitcoin-led rally, which allows you to stack up positions in some of these altcoins, is what they are called. I don't consider XRP an altcoin, by the way, just so everybody understands my perspective. I don't view XRP as an altcoin. That's a joke. XRP is the standard, okay? It's not an alt, okay? And I wanted to share this one too. I thought this describes Bitcoin perfectly. Do people still listen to vinyl records, right? Yeah. Is it predominantly how most people listen to music these days? No. Right? Everybody's streaming through different apps on their phone, this and that. But there's still a few, folks that play it on the vinyl. They're real, enthusiast, nothing like a good vinyl record, bro. I get that. I respect that, actually, by the way. I'm not really into that myself, but I respect it. And that's why I say I respect Bitcoin. That's what Bitcoin is to me. It's throw the vinyl record on. Let's, enjoy the moment, pay our respects. There's nothing like a good vinyl recording. That's great. But 99.99% of the time, how am I going to listen to my music? I'm going to be listening to it digitally and in an efficient way, in a cheap way. And this is what we have with the XRPL. This is what we have with some other ledgers as well. And with the DEX that's built into the XRP ledger, this is why I remain so bullish on XRP, if that need to be stated. Maybe you guys already know that. As I continue to say, I barely pay attention to the XRP price. Many days I don't even look at price because I'm not actively trading right now. So I don't even, some days I just don't even check the market. Or maybe I will like once per, I'll check it once at the end of the day or something. What I watch on a daily basis is the growth in the fundamentals and the partnerships and the adoption in the ecosystem. What I watch is the utilities coming to the XRP ledger. And as I continue to say, all I see is growth. All I see is expansion. Ripple didn't pivot. They weren't unsuccessful with payments. They've had tremendous success. Are they still getting started? Do they still have a long ways to go? Yes. That's how I feel about my life, about my businesses. Our trajectory, it's great, fantastic. But I also feel like we're just getting started. We have so much more to accomplish. And that's the momentum behind our entire community. And that takes us higher than a 60-cent XRP. And XRP will see a new day. XRP will breathe a little bit. And what I'm watching for is the new all-time high is going to be bloody. Just be ready. It's going to be absolutely bloody. So, my bull trap and XRP prediction, as I title this one, is that, yeah, we get a correction. XRP, and I'll share this story with you guys, and then I'll take some Q&A. When XRP went down in March 2020, it collapsed with the rest of the space. I've shared this story before, but it's important. In March of 2020, XRP collapsed, and it went down to 10 cents. And I didn't buy it at 10 cents because I had FOMO, just like everybody else. I thought the world was going to an end. Holy crap, this is it. Hunker down. And I was scared. And I also was greedy. Now, how's that possible? Well, I was scared. And it also was feeling greed on the other end, where I didn't want to buy XRP at 10 cents because I thought it was going to go to 5. And I was doing the math on, I could buy, so much XRP right now, but if it goes to 5 cents, holy cow, I'm going to be able to buy so much. It never went to 5 cents. 10 cents was it. And it didn't last long. And so if I am correct in my prediction that this is a bull trap rally, and even if we go back down 20%, I'm going to be coming on and saying that I was right. If it does go all the way down to 35 or 30, that would be pretty incredible. Based off of the new information, based off the new data, that might not be in the cards. I'm exposing myself by still putting that up there because I'm willing to be wrong. As I continue to say, that's the great thing about me, why I'm willing to put out this prediction, because if I'm wrong, we make money. Okay? If I'm right, we make even more money because we're going to buy the dip. And where I see XRP going this bull run is most definitely a new all-time high. Okay. And I am staying very, very conservative with my XRP predictions. 5 to 15 is the window of opportunity that makes me comfy and gives me room to breathe. And if I had to be even honest, if I had to be honest with you guys and really hone in on it, what I'm looking at is $5 to $10 is going to be one bloody place. It's going to be volatile as heck. So I'm going to be watching that region very, very closely. This is why I say that I'm trying to sell some XRP maybe around $10, around that area. But we'll see if the exchanges are even online, am I unwilling to sell XRP at $5? I don't want to sell much at $5. I really don't. I'm just being honest. In full transparency, you guys know me. I'm holding a lot of my XRP I'm going to hold forever. I'm going to leverage it. Make it available for AMMs, collateralize it, use it to leverage it into real estate, business deals. This experience doesn't end for me at a $10 XRP that I get to cash out and set sail. Even though, sure, we could put a lot of fiat in our pocket. That's great. But I think that we'll be able to do even more with our XRP down the future, because not only is XRP going to go up, the dollar is going to be devalued. As we were talking about yesterday with Lynette Zhang, there's a reason why she said that okay. Let me take a sip of my adult beverage so we can calm down and make this very clear for everyone. 40,000 per ounce gold. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Lynette Zhang's 40,000 per ounce gold fundamental value. Not price prediction. Let me explain the difference. Cheers, everyone. Lynette Zhang didn't say that gold's going to 40,000 per ounce. She said that the fundamental value, as she's calculated it, is 40,000. Now, as I was saying, right, if we can run with the assumption that gold's at least worth a little bit more than the spot price, right? And we take her value of 40,000, and so we say gold's worth anywhere from 2,500 to 40,000. Well, that's going to be interesting to find out, right? The key difference, though, is that it's like doing fair market value calculations on XRP. You can come up with scenarios, hypotheticals on why XRP should be worth this amount at some point in the future, right? And you can do the same thing with gold, and it's a fundamental value versus a price prediction. And that's a key difference. So you have to understand that. But as she said, though, what are you going to be able to buy with those dollars? Yeah, your gold is worth $40,000, but are we even going to be using dollars at that point? Is as she said too, and she said it in regards to paying off your mortgage, you have a window of opportunity to do it where you go into just ridiculous hyperinflation. But then it doesn't last long before they have to do some sort of reset. And so that's why you won't have long. If we do go into the hyperinflation. We've seen this in other countries, by the way. And what do? They slash off zeros at the end, right? They just revalue, just straight up revalue. They just cut off zeros at the end, literally, right? We've seen this recently in Turkey. We've seen this in Venezuela. We see it in Argentina. And, it goes to 15, 20%. It goes to 50% inflation. And you think, wow, that's insane. And then it goes Zimbabwe. And as she said, why is the Zimbabwe gold-backed CBDC not working? Because it's not convertible to gold and nobody trusts the central bank. So even though, you're going to an asset that we trust, we don't trust that you're actually going to that asset, that you actually hold it. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And so this is why the CBDC experiment in Zimbabwe that's gold-backed doesn't work, because there's no trust. What's the solution for no trust? Well, a trustless distributed ledger technology system. And I love talking to the commodities folks, the gold and the silver bugs, Lynette, absolute legend. Obviously, she's not just into gold and silver. She understands all the markets very well. She's just not invested into cryptocurrency, right? But she said she understands it. I like to be that bridge between, like my good friend Andy Sheckman. When I get to sit down with Andy, right, I'm asking him questions about gold and silver and other aspects of the market, right? And he's asking me about Ripple and XRP. And so every time we get to sit down, I get to tell him about that, right? And as you heard from Rick Rule, we just had Rick Rule on the show, legendary investor. He says, I don't understand it. He says, I don't understand China, so I don't invest in it. I don't understand crypto, so I don't invest in it. Is it stopping him from making money? Absolutely not. And that's where we all need to be at right now, I think, is we see in the XRP community. By the way, guys, let's drop comments and questions. Let's go to Q&A. While we see these other coins pump, remember that nobody's stopping you from making money. Nobody's stopping you from making money. If you want to go make money, you can trade these coins, but you have to understand what you're doing. You're going to the crypto casino. Are you making a momentum play? Is it based off of hype? Because I just did one of those trades. I traded out that SEI token, SEI. Still is an interesting project to me, but I made my money. I was happy. 30% profit. That's fine. I know in the crypto degen world, 30%, bro, dude, that's nothing. 30% is nothing to complain about. And this is what gets people wrecked during this time. Can you justify why Bitcoin's at 64,000? Can you justify why Poop Coin is at wherever it's at? Whatever coin you're at. Can you justify it based off of fundamentals? Is it justified based off of the hype? Okay, how much longer is the hype going to last? We're at that point in the cycle. We have rappers. Rappers are doing paid sponsorships now again. Oh, hey, I just bought this coin and I got my chain. Got my chain on, bro. I don't buy chains. I buy bars. Wifey doesn't like gold either, so no gold jewelry for wifey. So, this is the part of the cycle that we're at. Let's do Q&A. But I wanted to say that a lot of folks are getting down because they're seeing everybody else is making money. There's nothing. If you don't have conviction in XRP and you want to go move there, fine. I would ask, do you have other additional funds that you can invest without having to sell your XRP? Because that's probably the first problem, is that we don't have enough to diversify. If we only had $500 to invest in the first place, we have to have the expectations of investing $500 to start. So if me making my 30%, right, isn't going to move the needle much on a $500 investment, right? So this is where we have to understand is whatever level you're at, understanding risk management with your portfolio, understanding expectations. Can you give me fundamental an explanation of the price based off of fundamentals? And for 99% of crypto, you can't. You can't. A lot of it's hype. Rappers have bars too. Peaky, that's a good one. That's a good one, right? Offset got a few bars there. Absolutely. Bars on bars. Zach Attack, what's the deal with the news of Ripple price manipulation using GRS? Yeah, so it's GSR, market maker. They were not manipulating the price. What they were trying to do was time their sales to have the least amount of impact on price as possible. So they were actually trying to make sure that price didn't move. They were not trying to manipulate it. They were trying to make sure that price didn't move. And so they hired market maker GSR to conduct programmatic sales. That's how they were able to do that. But those stopped in Q3 of 2019 and they have not been fired up since. So please watch out for folks that are spinning negative FUD around that. You have to understand, Ripple was not manipulating price. They were keeping price stable. They were making sure that their sales of XRP had the least amount of impact on price. That's a responsible thing to do. And they used a third-party market maker to do it because they didn't want to be accused of manipulating it. They could have done, you don't think that Ripple knows how to sell XRP? They know how to sell XRP, right? But and they know how to, use these exchanges or market makers, whatever. But utilizing the market maker puts them, arm's length away, so that folks wouldn't accuse them of manipulating price. So anybody that's spinning this as FUD doesn't know what they're talking about, or they have some sort of agenda. Please understand that. And if they fail to mention that programmatic sales ended in Q3 of 2019, then they're just being dishonest and misleading, or they just don't know that because they didn't do the research and they want to spin negative spin cycle on it. Both is wrong. Both shouldn't be tolerated. And this is why we absolutely just smack down FUD like that that's shared by some of these guys. If you want to say that keeping the price stable is manipulating it, you could, in a sense, say that, yeah. But you have to understand, too, that they ended those sales in Q3 of 2019. So they haven't been doing any of those since a year before the lawsuit. So anybody saying right now, oh, let XRP breathe, you don't understand that those sales are already, they already haven't been happening. And they're not going to happen. Well, Ripple could fire back up the programmatic sales because Judge Torres ruled that those were not investment contract securities offering. So Ripple does actually have the green light to fire back up programmatic sales from a legal standpoint. But what they've done is they've pivoted. I'm glad. Let me address this because I was just looking this up before we got on here. Folks, let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the type of FUD crap that gets spewed out here by dudes that don't do simple research. They cherry pick data so that they can put a spin cycle on it. I did the math right here, folks. This is the simple fact. Ripple has barely been letting any XRP supply get into the open secondary markets. Ripple, remember, this is 2022 data. In 2023, they changed how they report it, and they no longer report the amount of sales for ODL and the amount that they bought back. But they've been buying back a lot of XRP, a lot, billions worth. And so in 2023, they changed how they reported it, and they stopped giving us this data. So this is why I had to go back to 2022 to pull this. But basically the same program is playing out right now. And what it was is, I went to the quarterly reports, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. I went to all of them for 2022, and I added it up because what's everybody saying? And what are they going to say tomorrow? Remember, tomorrow's escrow day. Oh, another billion's getting dumped on us. It's the stupidest thing anybody could say about Ripple and XRP. It is so far from the truth. In 2022, Ripple sold 9.1 billion. I rounded off my numbers to make it easy maths for everybody to understand. Keep it simple, stupid. 9.1 billion XRP got sold in coordination exclusively with on-demand liquidity sales to institutions. 9.1 billion. Ripple bought back nearly 8 billion. It's about 7.9. Almost 8 billion. So, yeah, they sold off 9 billion. They bought back 8. the net sales is 1.217 billion. That's 1,217,000,000 on the year. That's 1,217,000,000 on the year. That's how much XRP got released to on-demand liquidity institutional partners, some including exchanges. How much of that got trickled down to secondary markets? We don't know. I don't have that. I don't have the data further than that. You can go to these exchanges and you can see that their wallets, there still is some XRP there, right? But it has not been growing by much. And so just because 1.217 billion got released into circulating supply doesn't mean that it's available in the public secondary markets. It could be being exclusively held, and a lot of it is, by Ripple's on-demand liquidity partners. Remember, they're not selling to, they're not doing programmatic sales to exchanges. So I went back because I wanted to check this, because this is one of the common points of FUD that everybody says, and they're going to say the same stupid thing tomorrow because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But they've made egos about FUDding XRP. 1.217 billion. How does that average out on a monthly basis? 100 million. 12 months, 1.2 billion, simple math, 100 million. That's not even going to the secondary markets. That's not even coming to the public. Maybe a little bit is. Most of it's not. If these exchanges have a little bit left over, they could obviously sell some off, right? But you're talking on the year. That's all that got put out into the open. 1.2 billion. So what's all this crap? Oh, Ripple's going to dump another billion. Ripple dumps another billion on you every month, bro. It's the stupidest thing ever. And now you can say that to everybody. And the same thing's happening right now. I'll tell you that right now. Because we can see it on the escrow and we can see it in the circulating supplies. It's basically the same thing. They're letting almost no XRP really trickle down into the secondary markets other than leftover crumbs that these exchanges and institutional partners aren't using for ODL. And once the AMM goes live, who knows what's going to happen as far as where Ripple's going to put their XRP, right? Many people suspecting that they're going to put a significant amount of XRP into these various liquidity pools. So we have a scenario where Ripple doesn't even necessarily need to sell off or do programmatic sales ever again. I would argue that they don't. See, this is the best of both worlds. Ripple is selling off. I consider it OTC transactions, over the counter. Technically speaking, it's not OTC, but I consider it OTC because they have a buyer on the other end. Even if that buyer's an exchange, it's essentially an OTC deal, right? It's not going through any sort of middleman. It's not going through the order books is really what it is. The sales are not going through the order books. So that means that it's an OTC transaction, essentially. Which does not impact market. It impacts perception. And this is why so many people are confused about XRP. You know, they just don't understand these facts and they listen to stupid people that say Ripple's dumping $1 billion every single month, when Ripple themselves has been showing that they're returning 700 to 800 million back to the escrow every month. They're only leaving, a couple hundred million out. And then as I went back and found in 2022, they were only releasing or selling off, because they were selling and then they were buying. They only let 1.2 billion get out on the year. That's 100 million per month. And who's it going to? It's not going to, it's not new money from retail that has to buy that XRP. It's an on-demand liquidity partner that is going directly to Ripple in essentially an OTC transaction. So I find it incredibly hard to find any evidence of Ripple suppressing the price right now. I find it very hard to find any. I've looked everywhere. How and I asked people, explain to me how sales directly to an institutional partner would negatively impact price when it's essentially an OTC deal. It doesn't hit the order book. Retail money's not having to come in and buy it. What this is doing is effectively distributing XRP and decentralizing the supply. The network, the ledger is already decentralized. We know that. But this is helping to decentralize the supply as well. Brenda says, as long as XRP is under $1, I'm buying. Z-Dog going to hold out for that 50K Fed buyout? Yeah, you know, I just had another great conversation with Jimmy, and yeah, folks, you wouldn't believe what we have. I'm just going to leave it at that. You would not believe what we have. The folks that discounted us, you know, and they were completely confused about what this whole thing's about. That's all right. That's all right. Would you say that Ripple is building out the Amazon of the financial system? Yes. They started with payments. Now they're expanding. They didn't pivot. They weren't unsuccessful with payments. They've been incredibly successful. More successes to come. And they're expanding into other markets because they're a massive, corporation. They're a massive company. They're a massive entity. It's very simple. There's very few other cryptocurrency companies and even banks. There's very few other institutions and companies that are in the position that Ripple's in right now to be a lender of last resort for the liquidity crisis. There's almost, the IMF is about the only entity that really I can think of that comes close. Yep, exactly, Antlin. Someday people will be like, dang, it was 55 cents for so long and I didn't buy any. Exactly. Griffin, I appreciate the comment, brother. 589 in the chat. If you guys haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me, guys. It really helps. And I just want to say huge shout out to everyone. We just surpassed 75,000 subscribers here on YouTube, guys. It's been a long journey. And like I said, we're just getting started. So much momentum behind our community. I appreciate all of you guys for being on this journey with me. Let's keep taking the Q&A. Final day of the month. Let's take a look at these charts, guys. 60,800 for Bitcoin, Ethereum at 3,300, and XRP at 589. Folks, 589 in the chat and XRP's at 589. Are you kidding me? I retired from decoding, but might have to get back into it. I don't know. Or is that a sign from above? I will be pitching XDC to my jobs management. Elias, that's great. I love XDC just in the fact that it's another one that's going to eat market share from Ethereum, in my opinion. You know, it's not that I say any one of these projects is going to be an ETH killer, but accumulatively, all of these different projects are going to be ETH killers, right? Brother, tell us about the buyback. Well, it wasn't about a buyback. It was about putting up defense. And as now it's all been exposed, it was the right thing to do. And many people got confused about it, right? Many people don't understand what it was about in the first place, which was it's defense, it's insurance, it's a hedge, it's making a claim. Article 12 take free rule of the, controllable electronic records of the UCC. They've actually adopted new rules, take free rules, where basically if you don't make your claim on your property, they essentially can take it. So we wanted to make sure that we had protection established, and it was all with good intentions, and it was never meant to really be utilized. It was never meant really to be done. It was meant to put up a defense, like to say, hey, we know how valuable XRP is, so you're not just going to come take it from us. Which is, I mean, guys, you have to understand, we're not far off. We're not far off. We get the wrong judge and they rule that this thing is a security and some sort of buyback has to be conducted, right? Ripple has to buy back this XRP from XRP holders. You have to make your claim. You have to make it heard loud, early and often. Okay? And you have to back it up, which is why all the white papers came out. So many folks, it's not a price prediction. It's just like what I said with Lynette. Lynette wasn't predicting gold to 40,000. She was saying that's the fundamental value of it. I think I didn't really get from her how she plugged that equation in. I believe it was something along the lines of all of the debt being made whole again or something through gold. I'll look into that a little bit further, but it's the same scenarios that we're running through on all the different white paper valuation models is what they were. They weren't price predictions. It wasn't XRP is going to 122,000. XRP is going to, no. It was meant to show different hypothetical models and valuations to provide expert testimony and evidence and data and facts to back up a claim that XRP was worth more than 50 cents if they tried to take it for 50 cents. If they tried to take our XRP for $1, for $2, for $5, we were saying, hey, we have valuation models that show that XRP is worth more, and it should be, and it probably would be worth a lot more than it is right now if it wasn't for your actions. So it's about putting up a defense and making a claim. It wasn't about actually having the Federal Reserve buy it back. It was also sent to the Treasury. It was sent to the IMF. It was sent to every entity. And I actually just came across a document the other day of somebody else who had wrote into the Fed. It was like the Fed was taking public comments, and someone literally cited Jimmy and talked about it. And it was a good thing to have done. A lot of people try to spin it. Once again, there's a lot of people that want to spin anybody that's doing anything in this space, right? All these there's these people that want to come in and criticize and hate without understanding what the actual agenda is. The agenda is to defend ourselves against the bureaucracy beast government that's attacking us. If you have been living under a rock, maybe you haven't noticed, but our SEC is bought and paid for, corrupt through and through, and they gave a free pass that not only caused damages to the XRP community, but that they profited off of. So if you want to sit back and not have the conversation because the buyback conversation is stupid, well, that's because it's not about the buyback and you don't get it. And if you don't want to have an adult conversation, then good luck, God bless. Let's give up our country and completely bend over and let them take everything, because that's exactly what they want to do. Own nothing, live happy, have no purpose, have no children, 15-minute city, eat the bugs, and be a absolute peasant. Sure, bend over, take it. Or put up a professional legal defense. Get serious. Have an adult conversation, which is what we tried to do. That's all it was about. Sorry to get so excited. Peaky, what's up? Would you consider XRP the ultimate altercation coin? Keep it red folder rocking and rolling, brother. Oh, where's your red folder, bro? Still got it. Still adding documents to it. The fight continues. We're not done. We're not done. And you know, go look at all the other projects that are now in legal battles with the SEC. You know, this is what we're up against. You know, we got attacked first. We got stabbed in the back. You know, Ripple tried to approach him, shake hands. Hey, here's our business. Here's what we're doing. We didn't do an ICO. We're trying to be open, transparent, right? We locked our XRP in an escrow so that we could provide predictability, so that we could be transparent. What does the SEC do? Turn around, give Ethereum a free pass, and sue Ripple. And you know what's interesting is that before the SEC gave the free pass, in what was that, June of 18 or August of 2018, whenever that was, when the Hinman speech, the free pass speech, you know, just earlier in the year, in January of 2018, that's when XRP surpassed Ethereum. So how big are the damages? Well, XRP was the number 2 coin before the free pass speech was given. Then the lawsuit dropped and we lost about 90 billion worth of market cap. And then Ripple had to spend $200 million. And then we missed the next bull run in 2021. And if we just take conservative assumptions, we don't have to go crazy with our models. If we just take conservative assumptions and do some basic math, as I've highlighted with my video last week, XRP damage is worth $500 billion. I'm not just pulling that number out of my ass. It's conservative assumptions and basic math that every other coin, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, did a 3x from the 2017 bull run to the 2021 bull run. If XRP did the same thing, we go to $10 or so. And it's a $493 billion market cap. So sorry, I rounded up to $500 billion. Sounded better in the title. It's not a joke though. This is for real. This is the damages done to us. And it just baffles me that there's people in the community and a lot of people outside the US or whatever, they're not in our fight. You know, they don't have a dog in this fight. Sure. I would argue that they do because this has affected holders worldwide. The damages, the ripple effects have spread worldwide. Aunt Lynn, put some more fuel in the rocket, Zach. Appreciate you. Shane, the 589, I appreciate that, brother. Much love, guys. Thank you for all the super chats and love. Thank you so much. Yep. Well, folks, we're at the hour and a half mark. I think I'm going to wrap up this session. It's been an incredible month. It's beat my expectations. Smashed the pie in my face. Crypto's pumped way farther than I thought it was going to before we got a correction, right? That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I'm happy for my bull trap prediction to be wrong. I like making money. If I'm right, we make even more money. So let's be prepared. Let's stay focused. We enter the new month of March, the Ides of March. And the storms have already arrived. You know it's only going to pick up from here. So let's stay focused. Let's stay locked in. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell on the way out. If you guys haven't already, please can we smash that thumbs up? We got another massive month of March coming for our community. So much momentum. Let's keep up the good fight. God bless you all. Thank you so much.